Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of our Let's Play of Crusader Kings 2 Irish Spring. So this is our tutorial, I guess you'd say, series where we're just we're sinking our claws into Crusader Kings 2 in an effort to kind of, I don't know, pull back the veil on some of the mechanics behind the game. But not in such a way that it's going to make it even more confusing. We're just trying to get everybody started on Crusader Kings 2 because it's a fan-friggin-tastic game. It's one of my favorite games, if not my favorite game. I've sunk so much time into this game because it's so entertaining to me. In our last episode, honestly, we didn't do a whole lot of anything. We sat around and some events popped up and we kind of reacted to them, but really, we didn't do much. And that's kind of Crusader Kings 2, especially early game. You're going to be doing a lot of just chilling. You're going to be sitting around a lot and just reacting to the things that happen because early in the game, you're not a mover or a shaker. You are just a little fish in a very, very big pond. But as our kingdom grows and as we go up the power ranks, then we're going to be the ones that are going to be affecting change upon other people. So you'll find that in Crusader Kings 2, the game grows in complexity and intensity the bigger that you are, which is generally why it's better for newer players to start out as a smaller person, because it also depends on where you are. We're kind of in the time period that we're playing in. Ireland is very fragmented. Everybody's kind of weak, and we don't have a whole lot of external threats. So if we had started out as a count, say in France or the Holy Roman Empire, then there would be a lot more going on. We'd have a lot more to worry about. But in Ireland, it's kind of easy. It's it's relaxing. We just get to kind of do our thing. So, all right. Well, he did end his plot just as we thought he would. So hopefully that young lad will get a chance to thrive and flourish and procreate. Because someday we might want to press that claim. So we are about halfway through with making our militia training ground. You can always tell what you're building, or you can't tell what you're building, but you always tell if you're building something. If you look over here at your holdings, there'll be a little green bar with a hammer by it, and you can hover over the hammer and it will tell you what is under construction. So we can see militia training ground, and it will tell us the date on which it will be finished. So it will be finished in about 6 months of this year. And then, just as a quick and dirty kind of thing, you can just look at the green progress bar. So we can also make this stuff go away. If you don't like the way it looks, you can just hit boop and it closes. And then you can bring it back. Boop, boop. Anyways, so we have a child that lacks an education focus, another courtier who's now 12, hunchback, willful, and rowdy. Oh yeah, this is the hunchback that we decided to give the struggle focus to because it made sense, being that they're a hunchback, and they ended up being willful and rowdy. So, that's pretty much straight up martial. So let's go martial. Even though hunchback does give a -1 to martial, we're going to try to focus that direction, and we want to assign a guardian. Let's take a look. I've got the education tab pulled up. Hey, stop moving. What can we do here? We have willful and what was the other one? I've completely lost it. Let's go back to our court. Where's that little hunchback at? So we can go over here. Court. Hunch. There he is. Owing. He is willful and rowdy. So, stop moving. Willful and rowdy, we can. For willful, we could intervene and make him proud, but I think instead we will not intervene on that because the adult traits for willful are ambitious, brave, and stubborn, all of which are fine. Rowdy. Rowdy people can become strong or honest, so we're actually not going to intervene at all on this, on Iogen here. We'll just set them up with an education from somebody with some good martial score. Like Donchad here, who is strangely has no traits. None. He has no traits. He's brilliant strategist and quick. That's it. Well, Sounds fine. Donchad, you take care of Yogan, okay? So we're making 9 gold a month, which is pretty good. We're gaining 1.2 prestige per month because we hold 3 counties, 1 duchy, we have some baronies, and we have 1 vassal county. If we were holding those that county ourselves, we'd be getting more prestige. So it's another reason that we would like to take that. Young Nat Freich seems to always be willing to share. Oh, we must be warding him. So we can intervene and make him gregarious, or we can let him become charitable. So charitable would give him a +3 to diplomacy. Gregarious is going to give him a +2 to diplomacy and make him more attractive. You know what? Let's go charitable. Let's make him charitable. Crusader Kings. Christian pilgrims to the Holy Land suffer all manner of abuse, and the routes are not safe. In order to protect the pilgrims and secure Jerusalem for Christ and the faithful, His Holiness Pope Clemens III has accepted the possibility of an outright invasion by joint Christian forces. So, anyways, this signals a new era of large-scale Christian holy wars, the Crusades. So, this event basically signals the start of the Crusades. Deus Vult. We'll start to see some holy orders are going to start to pop up for us. Get my timer back up. There we go. I always like to know exactly how much time I have left. So how old are you now? You got to be... Oh, he's incapable. So this guy's going to die pretty soon. Once they hit incapable, they're laying in a bed and peeing and pooping themselves. So that brings us to a question. Since he's about to die and we're probably about to be going to war with this guy, do we want to spend some money? Or do we want to hold on to our money? Well, he's pretty weak compared to us. We have about double his size and troops, so we probably won't need to hire mercs. So I think it's probably safe for us to go ahead and invest some more money. And our militia training ground did just finish, so we could do castle fortifications. Would cost us 70 gold. We would gain plus 0.50, sorry, half a point of fort level. Fort level is basically what increases the difficulty of taking your fort. And it also protects more of your gold from Viking raiders. However, since we started at 1066, by this time most of the Viking raids are done. So I don't think this is too important at this point. We could spend 421 gold and gain a keep, which is pretty good. Give you plus 15% levy size, plus 15% garrison size. We could spend 351 gold and make a training grounds, which would boost the morale of our armies, levy reinforcement rate, and give us more retinue size. Or we could spend 280 gold for a barracks, and we'd get 70 heavy infantry and 30 pikemen. The ones that you see that have the little red gears, those are ones that we can't get. And when you see the red gears like this, what it means is that we don't have the technology to actually upgrade to this. And if you hover over it, you can see what you need. So for Castle Walls 3, we need Improved Keeps level 4. We need Castle Infrastructure 5. We need Castle Infrastructure 4. Castle Infrastructure 4. Shipbuilding 3. And for this one, we need 700 gold. Wow. And also Castle Infrastructure 4. So I think the barracks is probably the way to go here. It's going to give us, 65 additional troops. Didn't that just say 70 a minute ago? Anyways. And heavy infantry is good. Heavy infantry is good. So let's go ahead and spend 280 gold on the barracks. Now, what we'll do, once we start cleaning up our inheritance... Oh, King Bledden of Gwynedd just died. So we can remove this guy from special interest. And now if we look at Ostrage, he has no allies. He could form an alliance with any of these people here that he has a non-aggression pact with. So he could form an alliance with Breze, which is in Brittany, Connachta here, Brurek, also in Brittany, Glamorgan, which is over here, Glamorgan here, Dublin here, and then the rest of the people are not people that he could really ally with and get additional troops. So we're going to be attacking him. But anyways, completely forgot what I was saying a minute ago. I was talking about spending money. What was I talking about? Oh, okay. Once we got our inheritance cleaned up, and we're not in danger of losing this county and this county, what we will likely do is then we will start investing in these counties as well. But for now, we're going to be focusing all of our investment on this county because, you know, something crazy could happen. Our guy could die. And if we invest in this, and then they don't end up going to us, we're basically strengthening people that we're going to have to be fighting, more than likely. So what we're going to do here, this guy actually does like us a bit now. He's going to love us after we do this because we're going to be pressing his claim. This is a little dangerous because it's going to make him... Basically, it's going to double his power. Right now, he has only 770 levies, so if he decided to make a stink, wouldn't be that hard to put him down. However, you know, if this is going to double him up pretty much, so he's going to be even stronger. Yeah, could be kind of rough. But I think it's worth doing. Council votes yes. Everybody says very good. So let's go ahead and... Oh, yeah, he's I would gain a title! Yes! He's all about it. All right, so we are going to declare war. Yeah, okay. And then we will go ahead and raise our personal levies. And you know what? We're going to raise our vassal levies too, because why not? Go ahead and merge everybody up. Merge you up. And let's go ahead and let's have everybody march into Ermumain. And before I unpause, I always declare war with the game pause, and I advise you to do the same thing too. I am actually going to hit the minus button to slow it down to speed 2. For those of you who are unaccustomed to war, you may want to slow it down all the way to speed 1, just until you kind of get your feet under you. So his troops are going to pop up, and you can see he's moving to Tuadmumain on the 2nd. That's when he'll be there. So we could get out before him, but instead I think what I'd like to do is I would just like to set these guys there because I think he'll take a river crossing. No, he won't, but it is in the forest. You know what? Let's go ahead and see if he decides to engage. Looks like he is going to engage. So what we will do is we will just have these guys all turn this direction. And we'll just take the fight. Shouldn't be a problem with winning it. They're not coming in with a large, large army. We'll just make sure we have good leaders in charge. Not our king, though. In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and forbid... We're going to go ahead and forbid our king from leading armies so that he doesn't, take an arrow in the knee and die or something. So they will be there on the 1st. Okay, the fight is on. So now we're going to tell all of these units here, hey, I want you to go up here and reinforce. They should be able to get there before the decisive end to this. A son was born to Gruffid ap Sinan and to Mayor Nick Bryan named Krishan, so a grandson. So they'll be there on the 14th, on the 17th. Okay, yeah. As you can see, it's pretty even. The numbers don't matter so much as this little bar underneath them. When this little bar gets drained all the way, regardless of how many troops you do or don't have, your forces will be in retreat, basically. This is the morale bar. So it is possible for a smaller number of people to actually rout a bigger number of people. A lot of that has to do with terrain. So you can see he did not take a river crossing, and forest does not confer any sort of defensive bonuses to the defender. However, because we were able to reinforce with, more numbers, we were able to put him down. So what we will do now is he's going to do a shattered retreat until his morale gets back to being full. We're just going to move into Oath's Rage here and let him shatter retreat. And then we're probably just going to siege out Oath's Rage completely. And then if the war is not over at that point, then we will, I guess we'll have to attack him. We could split off the vassal levies at this point, which might not be a bad idea. So let's make a new unit, and we're looking for anything that says liege levy. Yeah, so it's only 400 troops. We're going to pick them and send them back. We can't, sorry, my contact lens is messing up. We can't disband them there, because if we try to disband them here, because we are in enemy territory, we will only be able to get 220 of the troops back. So we don't really want to do that. We're not a butthole. Or we are to other people in the game, but not to our own. Because you never know, I might need those levies at some point. Alright, so now we can go ahead and disband them with no penalty. And I'm actually going to speed the game back up to 5 at this point. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with war and how war goes in this game, I would advise against that. I would probably keep the war at, a 2 or maybe at most a 3. Just so that you can appropriately react to things. But for me, I know exactly what's going to happen. I know he's going to just go down and siege something. And basically, we're just going to sit here. I'm not going to bother attacking him. I'm fine. He can siege out whatever he wants. The bottom line is he only has 3 holdings. I have 12 different holdings. So in the time that it takes him to siege out, one of my counties fully, I can siege his whole kingdom down fully and pretty much end the war. Young Nat Frach has finished his education in the ways of war. Seems he has learned all the basic skills required. So he became a tough soldier. So yeah, he'll be useful as a commander, probably. Crusade for Jerusalem. His Holiness Pope Clemens III has been swayed by the cries for help from the Christian population in the Kingdom of Jerusalem. He urges all able-bodied men of Europe to take up arms against the evil Caliph Tajuddin in order to secure Jerusalem from the clutches of the Mohammedan infidels. God will grant the pilgrims remission of sins in heaven. Deus Vult. So, it is what it is. It's a crusade for Jerusalem, and the way that these crusades work is that if you want to join it, you see there's this little banner that popped up. You can click it, and it'll open up the war view, and then you right-click the Pope's picture. You can say, offer to join war. And then Crusade for Jerusalem, and it'll tell you, all help's appreciated. And then you click send. However, just because there's a crusade doesn't necessarily mean you have to participate in it. Not crusading will give you a negative penalty from the Pope because you're not in the war. If you do join the crusade, you don't have to send troops. You can just join it in name only, and then you can do whatever you want to do. The thing you have to keep in mind is that being at war does keep you out of certain events. Like you can't have a feast, and you can't do things. You can't do things like that. You can't change certain laws because you're at war. So, and crusades do tend to drag on for a few years. So that is something you need to keep in mind. You have to kind of weigh that versus that opinion malice with the Pope. If you do have a good amount of troops, I would not go to a crusade with troops unless you have somewhere, north of probably 5,000 to 10,000 troops. The bigger, the better, because you're going to have some definite Muslim doom stacks over there. And by doomstack, I mean really large amounts of troops in one place. But, you know, if you do go over there and you successfully, you know, siege out things and the crusade actually ends up being won, normally the way that the crusades work is everybody who participates in the crusade is assigned a contribution score based on, you know, how much they contributed. Like, you know, you get points for sieging out things, you get points for battle, and the person who contributes the most ends up basically taking everything down there that was captured. So it is possible, you know, say for an Irish king, and this has happened before, to, you know, become king of Jerusalem. One time I was the emperor of Britannia, and one of my vassals was like king of, I think it was the king of England, actually declared for the crusade, even though he was, you know, under me. It's fine, he can still do that. And he did end up being the top contributor. So under me as the Emperor of Britannia, I had the King of England, who was also the King of Jerusalem. It was pretty interesting. So anyways, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to stop there. And in our next video, we should be able to wrap up this war for Osrage, which is going to make the Earl of Ermumain love us. His opinion should go up to probably 100, which means he will be giving us more troops and more taxes, which is good. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's still going to be hanging around as our vassal for a while, because we would still like to take those counties for ourselves, especially Ermumain. But it will help us in the short term as well. So we'll wrap that up, and then we will see what our next target will be. So, thank you guys for joining me, and until next time, game on.